A treasure trove of homophobic, anti-Semitic, and racist text messages just leaked, and Donald Trump is in hiding. He's only poking his head up to complain about his hair on the cover of Time magazine. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. By now, everyone should know, Donald Trump has a racism problem. Apart from stacking his cabinet with white supremacists and neo-Nazis like Stephen Miller, apart from his close association with Christian nationalists like Pete Hegseth or self-avowed racists like Steve Bannon, he has a very nasty history of making comments like this.
Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Or this.
We have to have strong borders. We have to keep the drugs out of our country. Right now, we're getting the drugs, they're getting the cash. We need strong borders. We need we cannot give amnesty. Now, I want to build the wall. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, ICE, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border. One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out. We're going to get them out. We're going to secure the border. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest.
Or this.
Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Christ, we could have had a President Kamala Harris. Instead, this is where we are. Remember to actually vote, people. And if you think Donald Trump and the Republican Party's dog whistle racism is bad now, wait until you see what was just uncovered. The most amazing thing to me is that the Trump administration continues to carry out transparently racist policies, like racially targeting Latino people for mass deportations. Again, see our other videos for more. And yet, despite the obvious racism, Trump supporters continue to claim he's not a racist, or that the Republican Party doesn't have a racism problem. I mean, how much more obvious does it need to get for these people? Do we need, say, access to private messages that openly display racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, or misogynistic views for the Republican Party to own up to this? And if you're thinking the answer is yes, well, you just got your wish. This morning, political website Politico dropped an explosive story that manages to lasso a litany of young Republican figures, a senator, and more into a scandal of bigotry seldom seen in America. And that says something. Politico has exclusively gained access to thousands of text messages shared in group chats among leaders of the young Republicans nationwide. In them, they praise Hitler and Nazis, they say they want to kill their political opponents in gas chambers, they refer to black people as monkeys and, quote, the watermelon people, close quote, and they say they want to rape their opponents in hopes they commit suicide. Seriously. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans at the time, referred to rape as, quote, epic. Joe Maligno, who previously identified himself as the general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, wrote that, quote, gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic, closed quote. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the N-word more than a dozen times. In fact, the N-word and the homophobic F-word were used more than 251 times in the chat. And it goes on like this. Bobby Walker, the New York Young Republican vice chair, talked about how a mutual friend of some in the chat, quote, dated this very obese Indian woman for a period of time, close quote. Samuel Douglas, a state senator from northern Vermont, replied that, quote, she just didn't bathe often, close quote. We should mention at this point that a number of figures quoted in the story, including Peter Ginta, who at the time was the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, and who said he supported sending political foes to gas chambers and said, quote, "I love Hitler," close quote, apologized for his words. He also claimed that rival Republicans released the chats as part of a smear campaign. Yeah, right. Bobby Walker, the New York Young Republican vice chair, also apologized for his remarks. Interestingly, though, when asked about the chats, a White House spokesperson accused the story of being politically motivated and chastised the media for not calling out what it deemed as hostile rhetoric from Democrats, namely calling Republicans racists or Nazis. So here's a little something to consider. If you don't want to be called racist or a Nazi, wouldn't it be smart to not praise Hitler, his methods, use racist slurs, white supremacist slogans, or fascist ideals? Just offering a suggestion. You can't claim it's hateful rhetoric if it's just an observation of fact. And the fact of the matter is, the Republican Party has a real racism problem. This is Occupy Democrats.